What's up, nerds? So, I just finished the first two episodes of X-Men 97. And I have to say, I wasn't like 100% on board, but I wasn't 100% disappointed. Like, there was a lot going on that I liked, and then there was a lot going on that I didn't like. So, I will discuss this kind of stuff while I do the breakdown and then my review overall at the end. But I just want to say, like, I didn't hate this episode or both these episodes, but I have to say it just has a different feel compared to the X-Men show, and this is supposed to be a continuation of the X-Men 90s show. But for me, it felt like, I don't know, like show adjacent. Like, it wasn't bad, but at the same time I was just like, I'm not feeling it as much as I thought I would, but we'll see. You know, I'm not, I don't hate the show so far. Like I said before, it wasn't as, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain what it was that I didn't like about it, but I can't be all like, oh, I loved everything about it, because I didn't love everything about it. That's just the end of that. All right, why don't we go ahead and get into this, and then I'll see you on the other side. A year has passed since the professor left, with sympathy for mutants growing in the wake of his perceived death. Okay, so first off, Charles didn't die that last episode. I didn't rewatch the series, the X-Men animated series, to get to bone up for this, but I don't. From what I remember, he didn't die. He just went into space and went to live with Lilandra because he had like a psychic disease or whatever, and if he stayed on Earth, it would kill him. But he could go and live at the Shi'ar Empire with Lilandra. And he wouldn't die. So he didn't die. He just left Earth, from what I remember. But it's been a whole year. I was like, oh man, that's such a long time. But that's fine. That's how it goes, you know. And you know, it's good. New changes include Bishop joining the team and Jean being pregnant, along with the team being legally sanctioned. So I like that the team has been totally okayed by the government and everything. They're like now a fighting force for good. And adding Bishop to the team, I don't know if I like that or not. I mean, he really didn't do an overwhelming amount in terms of like story-wise. But having him on the team in terms of powers and just like, that whole situation, I did like that because he was very cool. I liked when Storm and him were fighting the Friends of Humanity in their little warehouse, and that was fun. The X-Men save a young man, Sunspot, from the Friends of Humanity. Again, I don't know if adding Sunspot was like the best. I mean, they did, they mention it later on, but they did this kind of like how they did Jubilee in the first episode of the original series. You know, they added a new mutant on. The team saves her/him in this one, and then they become, they end up becoming a member of the team, which is fine. But and I'll talk about like the design of the characters and stuff in the animation, but at the end. But this was fine to me. Sunspot's not a bad character. I wouldn't have chose Sunspot out of all the mutants they could have chosen, but I don't care enough to complain about it. Seeing they were outfitted with Sentinel tech, the group probe Gyrick's mind for the location of Trask. Jean receives a horrifying premonition while doing so. So I did like having the Sentinel tech with the arm guns, Sorry, you couldn't see my arm. The arm guns and everything. I did like that. I thought that was cool. And then when Jean probes Trask's or Gyrick's mind, I did like that also. Jean Grey is my favorite character from the original show, and now I love Jean Grey. I did, when she was put on like the astral plane or whatever, and she saw these like, these visions or whatnot. I thought that was cool. I always liked the astral plane stuff because I like the psychics on the show. I did wonder, like, because she goes, I think she said something about someone's here, and I'm like, I wonder who that someone is, you know what I'm saying? But we'll see how that works out. I'm just curious as to where we go from here. This leads them to a junkyard Trask is rebuilding his Sentinels in. With a lobotomized master mold, the broken machines prove no match, with Trask apprehended and given to the president for trial. So they get to this this junkyard with the master mold and everything. And, the Sentinel, I thought this fight was fun. I always enjoyed the Sentinels in the original series. I always thought that was a good time. I liked seeing them fight the Sentinels from the original series. So I really did enjoy this portion of the program. I just, I hope the Sentinels aren't gone forever. I really don't, because I do like having those fights, those epic fights with giant robots, The following day, Magneto reveals that Professor Xavier left everything to him, entrusting the X-Men's missions of coexistence to him. And so they're about to get their game on, and then Magneto shows up with this will and testament that they do not contest at all. They're just like, whatever about it. And he's like, I'm now your leader. And I'm all like, says who? I'm like, I don't know about you, but if it was me, I'd be all like, just because you say, or yeah, I'd be like, we're going to have to get some lawyers involved, because I don't believe this. You just bring this giant novel and expect me to believe you, Magneto? I don't think so, honey. I mean, like, your past just proves you can't be trusted. So that was the end of episode 1. So why don't we go ahead and move over to episode 2. Magneto has adapted as best he can to Professor Xavier's code, detaining Friends of Humanity and sending mutants to Genosha for protection. So I'm glad that he moved the Morlocks from the sewer and moved them to Genosha. I always liked, we just had, what's the Living Island's name? I can't think of it now. They just ended that. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head. I'll remember after I'm done recording. But I always liked them having, like Asteroid M. I always liked them having their own kind of nation and everything, which we'll talk about later on at the end of the episode. But I always liked that in the comic books and in the TV shows. I just always thought it was, like, nice and everything that they had a home to go to. So that was always fun. The X-Men have a rocky time adjusting with Bishop and Cyclops most uneasy, while Rogue sympathizes with Magneto's struggles. Also, I did like the fact that they show that some of the team members are having a hard time with Magneto as their leader, and some of them, sympathize with him. I like how Rogue and him, totally, got it on, which is totally comic book accurate as far as, Age of Apocalypse and other stuff because Magneto can coat himself with, a magnetic force to where, and it can get really close to his skin to where Rogue can touch him. And in some instances, they have a baby together. I believe in Age of Apocalypse. I can't remember if they have a baby together in any other comic books off the top of my head, but I'll have to go check it out. So I did like that they showed that, and then they showed the Gambit and her will they, won't they kind of thing. His exploits has the president bring Magneto in for a trial, so he may be judged for his past terrorism. So I also liked when this isn't the president, but I don't know who this lady is from the show, but I like how Magneto used the helicopter blades to box him in and everything. I was like, that's good and everything. And also he went with him, which is also, I was like, yay, good. He's trying. The Executioner is sent to shoot a depowering radiation blast at Magneto, but Storm takes the hit for him. So the Executioner and everything, which I've always thought that was hokey. He's from the comic books, which is fine, but at the same time, I'm just whatever about it. But I mean, I never really I don't really remember him that much. I remembered his mask, but I don't remember him from the comic books. And I did not care for this part because it was a modern day commentary on January 6th, and people are always going back to that well, and I'm all like, yeah, I've had enough of that well. I'm just that water, I'm not drinking it anymore because it's just tainted. So they can do that, that's fine. I'm not the show's not crappy because of that. But I'll tell you right now, so when Storm got hit with the blast, I was really annoyed with that portion of the program because out of all the X-Men, you're going to take away Storm, one of the badasses of the team, and you're going to depower her. Get the fuck out of here with that noise. So the show would be crappy just for that choice, and I think that the showrunner deserved to get fired because of that bad choice. You're going to make choices like that. You just obviously have bad judgment. So So Storm gets hit, and I felt bad for her because she's like, I can't feel the air, and then like the moisture in the air, and I'm all like, Storm, that's so sad. I love Storm so much, and she had previously just talked about with Jean, which I didn't really care for that scene either. I thought that was kind of mopey, but whatever. But she had just talked to Jean about how she's all like, sometimes I think about being human. And I'm like, well, now you know what it's like, bitch. All right, you got your wish. You jinxed it. Where is Jinx and everything when you need her? And so I just didn't like it. Anyways, Magneto is granted a pardon for showing his intentions to carry out Xavier's will, though he warns that his patience is limited. So Magneto gives his big speech, which I'm like, oh, we got to get another one of these. By the way, I do not like Magneto's costume in this. It's fine because that's how it is in the comic books. He has that stupid, the gloves, the big ass gloves. I'm like, he looks like a murderer from a Japanese horror movie. Like he's just like, oh, with these big long gloves and everything. Anyways, but he gives his spiel up in space, and then they let him go, which I'm like, fine, it's fine. But yeah, because he's got to be the leader of the X-Men, which is totally also comic book accurate. But I don't know. In the meantime, Jean goes into labor, and Rogue is forced to absorb an obstetrician's knowledge when he refuses to deliver the mutant baby. So when Jean went into labor and they go to the hospital and the doctor's like, I'm not going to deliver your mutant baby. And I'm all like, oh, get the hell out of here with this noise. I'm all like, I'm like, in real life, the doctor would be like, do no harm kind of thing. So I was like, that's fine. But I did like how Rogue was the one that touched the doctor and she knew what to do. I like that. I was like, that's a good use of her powers that I think that a lot of people just don't like understand. And they don't get that about Rogue and everything. So it was nice. But, Rogue, she kind of lost her way in the comic books after, Chris Claremont, I think it was Chris Claremont, after he left, Rogue just really didn't have a place anymore. She was able to find her footing here, and I like that a lot and everything. Storm leaves the team while they are surprised by the arrival of a Jean doppelganger. Okay, so Storm leaves. She writes her whole big, long John Deere letter kind of thing. We're breaking up and everything. And she gets on a bus and she takes off because she's all depressed. And they're like, you're not curable, honey. You're going to be powerless forever. And she's depressed, which I would be too. How do you go from being an Omega level mutant to just, plain Jane? I'm like, it is not possible. It's like, you're just like, Storm's got a rough road ahead of her and everything. And then the baby, Cable, so freaking cute. I love Cable as a baby and everything. But so we get a knock at the door, and it's Madeline Pryor, which is a clone of Jean Grey. And it's fine because also very much from Chris Claremont, Madeline Pryor, and I mean. She's also known as the Goblin Queen, which I also didn't care for Madeline Pryor from the comic books, but at the same time, she was kind of a necessary evil, and we find out more from her, but she's working with Mr. Sinister and everything, so, and I think that he'll play a little bit of a part coming up and everything, but so that's the end of the episode, the final thing of the episode. Okay, so let me get into some things some things I liked and some things I didn't like, okay? So first off, Cyclops. Cyclops was great in these episodes. They really like leveled him up in terms of like a leader and a character, I really liked it a lot. And one of my favorite scenes was when the Sentinel takes out the Blackbird. And he's like up in the air just falling along with the other X-Men. And he's just like, X-Men, I'll see you on the ground. It's like, wait, what? Storm's not going to come and grab you? Because I always like that with where he's like hanging off like this from Storm and everything. I always like that visual. But for this one, no. He just straight up is zoom towards the ground. And he's like, and that blast was super cool. And then he does the superhero landing. And then he does the... my X-Men to me. And I'm all like, my X-Men. I was like, that's good. I like that a lot. Storm, of course, was great. I love Storm from the original one. She was great then. She was great now. Some stuff was I'm not a fan of, but I love the mohawk look and everything. But taking away her powers, I was like, what a horrible choice. Again, I don't feel bad for that showrunner now. He deserved to get fired for taking away her powers. Even if there's no way she's not coming back. If she doesn't come back with her powers, then this show will be bad. Like, I'll be like, nah, it's too woke. That's what I'll be one of those people. But I'm like, if you take away Storm's powers, I'm not interested in the show. If Storm is not a part of the X-Men, not interested, like, at all. So I'm just gonna assume that they're gonna bring her back, but you know what happens when you assume, you get disappointed. But again, Storm has to come back, or I will shit all over season 2, which I think they've already got that under wraps. I'm not sure. Wolverine, they made Wolverine take a step back. I did like it because it's comic book accurate. They always make Wolverine, like in the movies with Hugh Jackman, they always make him like the main character, and that's never been Wolverine's role. It's never been Wolverine's role, and I'm glad that they did let him take a step back. Now, Cal Dudd does the voice work for him, and a lot of people gave him crap during the trailer for it, but he did a good job here. Like, I was like, this is decent work and everything. Rogue also kind of took a step back, but I also feel like that was like after Chris Claremont's, as I said before, after his run on the X-Men, Rogue really didn't have anywhere to go from there. And also, once her and Gambit got together, once they got together in the comic books, there was really nowhere to go with them after that, because they always had that will they, won't they kind of thing. And, that once they got together, you're just like, all right, where do we go with these two? Like, oh, nowhere. So we'll see where that goes and everything. Although I do think that she should and will have a relationship with Magneto. So overall, these episodes were not bad. Did they bring back all the love for the original X-Men, series? No, but it didn't I didn't hate this. I wasn't all like, this is stupid and woke and everything while I was watching it. It didn't make me angry, but I wasn't like, the animation, by the way, is not the best, in my opinion. The animation kind of sucks. The action sequences are good. I like the action sequences, and the storylines is very soap opera, which is kind of like comic books are. It's all like who's fucking who and everything in the comic books. But at the same time, this kind of took it to another level, like the next level in terms of soap opera-ish. But it was fine. I did enjoy it. I like it. In terms of like, I'm glad that it's back, but we'll see how it goes. I just hope they get more to like optimal storytelling, because I felt like this was kind of rushed. We'll say that and everything. But tell me, what did you guys think about these first 2 episodes? Did you like them? Did you not like them? What was your favorite part? Who's your favorite X-Men character? For me, it's Jean Grey. Always has been. But tell me yours. Are you guys mad like me that Storm lost her powers? Or are you thinking like it's fine because she's going to come back and be like, I understand humanity now? And you're all like, oh, get the fuck out of here, Storm. But we'll see. But tell me what you guys thought. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week on my X-Men 97 breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Bye.